Hello YouTube, it's your boy Nathan coming to you to do another recap video. Today we are talking 90 Day Fiancé Happily Ever After Season 9 Episode 13. It wasn't over and still isn't over. So we're just going to get on to it. This won't be a long video because again not much went down. First couple I want to talk is, and we do get some couples to talk and some breakups to talk, really. So as usual, let's just get over to the couple I can't stand the most on this season, and that's Darcy and Georgie. So Darcy and Georgie just had their big, nice little anniversary party and everything. And last we saw them, Darcy got drunk and was throwing up. This week they're packing up and they went to some kind of like haunted place or whatever with Stacy and Florian, and they're just about to get ready and leave Bulgaria to go back to America. Well, while they're at the place, Georgie reveals that he kind of wants to buy like get an apartment, some kind of like vacation home or property in Bulgaria because he misses his family. And, we notice a trend. I noticed this, it may be produced, but I'm not sure because I noticed a trend with a lot of the 90 Dayers that want to do that. Every time they get back to their hometown, like to do a wedding or something like that, they always want to like try to do something to stay there and stuff and everything. Part of me thinks that's produced because it's just so ironic that like they all do that basically. So I don't normally pull this is stage and produce card all the time, but it's just a little ironic that always happens. So Georgie tells Darcy and Stacy and Florian that he's thinking about wanting to stay a little longer to take care of some things, and Darcy's just like, well, you got to take care of it. You got to live in your secret life again and everything. And then he tells him what he wants to do, and then he's like, oh yeah, I think your secret life, you got a promotion and everything. And then with what money you got? You got everything in America and everything. Darcy was just going off, and Stacy was just antagonizing it as well, and it was pissing him off. You got Florian sitting there being quiet, and I can't stand Florian either, but it was just best for him to stay quiet. And so, Georgie kept his composure because, like, they were on their way to the airport, and his sisters were supposed to come over and say goodbye to them. But, Darcy and Stacy just blew up at Georgie for, like, nothing. Just, like, I don't know. They just, like, embarrassing him. They don't like to talk about things in private. They just, like, they just like to, like, yell at him all the time and just because they don't get what they want, basically. And so they're yelling at Georgie and saying, and then they just basically told Georgie, we're going to the airport without you. Like, we're gonna ride in the car without you and everything. And, I give Georgie credit for not like yelling and screaming at them and everything. And she was just like, I'll send you a check, basically. And Georgie, this was fun. He was like, y'all ain't got no money. You and Stacy don't have no money. He's like, what do you think? We live on the street or something? We have a good business. We do got money and everything. He's like, yeah, well, y'all buy it all on clothes. I was dying. I was dying when he said that y'all spend it all on clothes, which they do. Yes, they have a successful business and they sure get money from the show, but I was dying. So they go to the airport pissed off and everything, and Georgie's sisters come over and he had to explain what happened and everything. And he was just really homesick, and then you got people like Darcy and Stacy just like antagonizing him all the time. And could have been handled differently 100%, but I don't know. I really felt bad for Georgie in that moment. I'm not saying he was right in that moment, but there's just a time and a place for all of that. And they clearly don't understand time and place, in my opinion. So it is what it is. So that was Darcy and Georgie. Next couple I want to talk is Brandon and Julia. Wait, before I get to Brandon and Julia, I have a Darcy and Georgie update as well. So on Instagram, Georgie's been posting some pictures from the episodes lately and everything, like from their anniversary party and all that. And Darcy keeps commenting on his post saying, take me off of your social media. I don't want no part of you. Yeah, interesting. She keeps saying, "Get me off your page." And y'all, I don't normally do gossip and behind the scenes stuff, but I did see that. And I'm just like, and I seen it on two posts actually. She says, "Get me off your page. I don't want no part of this. Like, I'm not going to be lived in this toxic relationship again or whatever." So I don't know. Trouble in paradise. So yeah, that was Darcy and Georgie. Now Brandon and Julia, they only had one scene in this episode, and it was really quick. Last week, Julia snapped because she wants to go on this like world tour before she decides to have a baby, and like Brandon is unsure about it because of finances, and then Julia's flipping out and everything. You always do this. I do everything for you. You don't do nothing for me. And I'm just like, Julia, he actually did do a lot for you. He got your parents here. Okay, what did you do? Just go to a doctor's appointment, get your second opinion. Okay, yeah, that's all you wanted to do. But Brandon getting your parents here and doing the second wedding in Miami was a lot. And then like he wants to have a baby, and you keep just beating around the bush and trying to find ways around it and everything, and then get mad when you called out about it. So she decides, her parents are going back to Russia, and she just basically said, "Look, I'm going to take my parents to New York because their flight is in. They had to get on a flight to New York to go back to Russia, and you're not coming with me. You stay here to think about what you decide to do." And he's just like, "Okay, whatever." And that was that. So Julia takes her parents to New York, and then they had to go to Russia from there. Again, as we all know, this is all BS because they're going to be having a baby. Julia is pregnant, so I just can't wait to see what the turnaround was. So we shall see. So yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time on them. So that was basically all we saw. Brandon still being a mama's boy and going to stay with the parents throughout the whole while she's gone and everything. So I swear, both of them. I mean, we're always hard on Brandon that he needs to grow up, but Julia does too. They both throw tantrums a lot, and they want to go. They want to go stay in separate places all the time. Every time they don't get their way and stuff, basically. So it's just like, come on, you guys. You guys are in your 30s now. Come on, grow up, please. So that was Brandon and Julia. Next couple I want to talk is Gino, Jasmine, and Matt. So let's start with Jasmine and Matt. So last week we seen Jasmine and Matt go to their ultrasound, and it was revealed that Jasmine's having a girl, and the girl, obviously, her name is Matilda, that we all see. Now this also could be BS too, but here's the thing. I really don't like Matt anymore. Well, just how this came off, because we seen Jasmine and Matt at the store trying to buy clothes and everything, and Jasmine's picking out clothes, and then Matt's picking and saying that you're picking a lot of pink out, and then Matt wants to pick out some camouflage stuff and everything. And Jess was trying to say you're having a girl, basically. And remember, Matt was really upset last week because he wasn't having a boy, basically, and everything. So Jasmine called him out about it. She was like, ever since the ultrasound, like, you've been just ungrateful. She said that, even though me and Gino fight, Gino would have been grateful for what we had, basically, and everything. He's just rolling his eyes and everything. And then Jasmine revealed that, when she was younger, her father disowned her because like he didn't want to have a girl. And Jasmine said that when growing up, like she grew up without a father, and then when she got older and graduated college and everything, she tried to reach out to her father to let her know like she's doing well and being successful, and he didn't care. So this is the first time I'm hearing about that. So Jasmine, the way she be acting, Jasmine has daddy issues. So that explains everything now. That Jasmine has daddy issues. So Matt was just not still not being grateful at the fact that he's having a girl and not a boy and everything. And Jasmine said, if you're going to continue to act like this, I have no problem doing this alone, basically. And Matt's just telling her to shut up and whatever and everything. And so Jasmine now starting to treat Matt like how she treated Gina. She started to yell at him and cuss him out. She's like, F you, basically, and everything. Like, you're not who I thought you were and everything. She goes outside and starts crying and everything. She's like, Matt was just supposed to be an F boy and everything. None of this was supposed to happen and everything. We weren't supposed to have the feelings. We weren't supposed to be in this position. And I'm like, really, Jasmine? Yeah, you weren't. That was the agreement. You weren't. But you're the one who the rule was in the open marriage of you and Gino was that feelings weren't supposed to happen. Two, that y'all were always supposed to be using protection. Well, I know you and Gina are fully broke up now, but y'all weren't using protection before you even got pregnant. So you screwed up, Jasmine. So yeah, you're seeing that, and you don't really know this guy. Now you're about to have a baby with him. So Matt comes out, and he's trying to comfort Jasmine and everything. She's cussing him out, and he even gave her the low jab saying, see, this is why you and Gino had problems. Like, you cussed him out and everything, and he didn't want to sleep with you. And then Jasmine's like, I hate you, and everything. Just typical Jasmine fashion, basically. And so he gets in the car and everything. He tried to explain his side. He's like, look, my dad disowned me too. I grew up without a father too. I'm really sorry on how that came out. I'm really not trying to be sexist or trying to make it sound like I'm not going to care for our daughter, basically. Like, I'm going to be a good dad, but I am scared. I'm scared. I wasn't ready for this. I'm just super scared. Jasmine's like, your apology is sincere, but I need time to process this all and everything. And I'm just like, I for one screw with Jasmine. I was just like, you know what? If me and my girlfriend are about to have a baby, I'm happy. I don't care if it's a boy or girl. I can have my preference, but I don't care about for everybody says, oh, I want a boy or I want a girl and everything. Let's go with I want a healthy baby. I want a healthy baby. I want a baby that's gonna come out of my girlfriend, my wife's womb and be healthy, not have any problems, not have to be in an incubator for months and everything, not be a preemie, not have long-lasting terms, or as we've seen in Robert and Annie's case, they lost one of their babies a few years ago. They talked about it on 90 Day Diaries this week. So, I don't want that to happen whenever I have a kid. So, instead of worrying about boy or girl, let's worry about the health. Just saying. So, yeah, but that was Jasmine and Matt. And then Gino meets up with his Uncle Marco and his nephew and everything. And Uncle Marco, he is so cool. They met at an Italian restaurant, got some spaghetti. And Gino told Uncle Marco. Uncle Marco found out about the open marriage. He's like, I heard a rumor that you're on open marriage, so how's that going? And Gino tells his Uncle Marco that, he went over to Jasmine's house where she was staying out with Matt and everything, and she told him that she was pregnant. And Uncle Marco was like, pregnant? He was like, pregnant. And Uncle Marco actually started crying because, y'all remember, and I covered this, Uncle Marco walked Jasmine down the aisle at their wedding, basically. And Gina and Jasmine, I remember had a really nice wedding. It was one of the best weddings on season 10 of 90 Day Fiancé. And so Uncle Marco just felt real betrayed. He started crying. He was like, that's karma. Karma's going to catch up to her. You will reap what you sow and everything. He's like, I felt violated. She was like my daughter and stuff and everything. And just like, wow, basically. So yeah, I felt bad. He really felt bad. And then we seen Gino at a cafe trying to, he wants to write Jasmine a letter, trying to do a closure letter and everything, explain his heart, express his anger, express his heart and everything. We'll see how the letter comes out. He's like, I'm not going to email it or text it. I'm going to send her a voice note and everything, and we'll see how that plays out next week. And he did some calculations on all the money he spent. I'm like, dang, he kept his receipts on how much he spent with Jasmine and stuff. It was like nearly $76,000 in the last 5 years from his relationship with Jasmine. So he keeps saying that I'm gonna screw her, like she's gonna get it and everything. Yeah, I like to see how this plays out because now he's out for revenge, basically. So yeah, that was Gina and Jasmine and Matt. And the last couples I want to talk is Jovi and Yara and Lauren and Lexi. So Jovi and Yara, we first seen Lauren with her friend Noga. They have some kind of business and everything, some kind of like mother business or whatever that Noga came over for and everything. And they had to do some business. And then she says that she's going on a ski trip with Jovi and Yara and Elizabeth and Andre at Lake Plastic. So Lauren told her friend Noga what happened at Yara's launch party and everything. And Noga's like, those people like to fight, basically. They just like, no matter where they go, they just really love to fight, and that's disrespectful, basically. So Jovi and Yara, Lauren and Lexi, they fly out to Lake Placid for the ski trip and everything. They meet at the airport and everything, and then they get on the bus to go to the resort, their ski resort where they're going to be staying at and everything. And they had nice rooms. And as they're talking, they have a good dynamic. Jovi and Yara and Lauren and Lexi do have a good dynamic together. And it was peaceful. I will admit it was peaceful without Elizabeth and Andre there and everything because, Andre just likes to, as I said, likes to cuss a lot and everything. Now I'm going to be talking about Jovi here in a minute, but it was nice and peaceful because there was no fighting, there was no awkward moments. Well, to start, then it did get a little awkward. So anyway, so they get to the resort and they're having just trying to enjoy the place. There's a fireplace and everything. Jovi wants to get his groove on with Yara and everything. They go to like the bar in town and they see a recently newlywed couple that they talked to, and they did a cheers to them and everything. And they went back to Jovi and Yara's room, and Lauren and Lexi and Jovi and Yara decided to play Never Have I Ever, basically. So they played Never Have I Ever, and then they started talking about like old pictures. Alexia showed an old picture of himself when he was younger, when he was a kid. Lauren showed a picture when she was a teenager, saying she looks exactly the way she looks now, basically. And then, it was all well, just reminiscing that. And then Jovi had the audacity and the nerve to say that Yara's pictures were terrible. Y'all should have seen Yara's pictures in the past. They were terrible. She looks so different now. And everybody's just like, oh, what? And everything? What? Terrible? Different? Yara's just sipping her drink and everything. Like really? Like, really, Jovi? Really? So Lauren and Alexia was like, okay, it's time for us to retire for the night and everything. And they go back to their room and they were like, did you hear what Jovi said about Yara? And it looked like Yara was really, really offended by that, as she should. So Jovi and Yara are now starting to fight over it because Yara's like, you need to look at yourself in the mirror. I don't talk nothing about you. And, that was really rude and disrespectful what you said, basically. And she's right. I know I've been mocking Yara for the last couple of weeks. I'm not going to do it this week. I'm not going to do it this week because this time I'm Team Yara in this case. Because that was disrespectful. That was. He kept on saying, oh, I just said that you look different. You look different. You're still beautiful. You look different. That's not what you said, Joe. You said that you should have seen what Yara's pictures looked like in the past. It was terrible. That's what you said. You didn't say different. You said terrible. And so Yara's just getting on to him about like I would that I've been in therapy because of this stuff. This is a sensitive topic for me and everything, and on the way I look and everything. You're just gonna comment on that. I can say it because it's about me, but you, especially as my husband, shouldn't be saying it like that. And Jovi is just not was just being insensitive. He was not understanding. He was just like whatever and everything. It's not a big deal. And it's like she's like, for you it's not a big deal, but for me it is a big deal and everything. He was like, whatever, you always gotta ruin everything. Can't take you nowhere. And then she was like, Yard was like, oh yeah, I'm in a bad mood because of you, basically. So and she's right. Like Jovi was dead wrong in that. Like how you gonna just disrespect say like your wife's old pictures were terrible back then. That wasn't funny. And you know how sensitive Yara is anyway. So you knew this was gonna cause a fight. So how about Jovi just apologize for once? And that's the issue I have with Jovi is that and he'll say stuff like that and not be remorseful and everything. So yeah, that was messed up. So throughout that whole time, though, Jovi and Lauren and Alexi, Lauren was just always saying like, that she still doesn't trust Elizabeth and everything. Like, she'll be cool and cordial when they get there, and like they're coming like the next day and stuff. We'll see them come next week and stuff. But yeah, I prior to that little never have I ever game in the pictures thing. I like their dynamic better, and so I don't want like Elizabeth and Andre coming in and like just being aggressive basically. So yeah, that was all the couples. Before I go, yeah, we have some other updates. So we didn't see Karen and Guillermo. I wonder if their scenes are done. And what's going on with Tiger, Lily, and Adnan? Why aren't they coming back? Oh, here's why. Tiger, Lily, and Adnan. Tiger Lily posted a story on Instagram the other day. Basically, her wedding from a couple years ago when she got married, when she first arrived at Jordan with Adnan. And then she indicated that, like she was hoping that'd be forever, but now that forever is not happening, basically. So I don't know and so that indicated that there's major trouble in paradise for Tiger Lily and Adnan, and that they are about to be breaking up, possibly. We're still waiting to get more details about that. So I'm not surprised. If that's the case, I'm not surprised. I'm glad that Tiger Lily finally came to her senses because that guy is scary. And it's unfortunate that they just had a baby last year and everything. So there's gonna be a battle with that. But yeah, I'm glad that she finally woke up from that. So yeah. Anyway, guys, that is the end of my review. Yeah, we didn't see Elizabeth and Andre either, but we'll see them next week. Yeah, I just hope that Karen and Guillermo's scenes are not done, and at least some kind of update with Tiger, Lily, and Atten. But it's going to be just a draining rest of the season with just the Darcy and Georgie drama and Brennan and Julia and everything. So, yeah, we shall see. Before I sign off, I had some exciting news. I think I'm going to be a guest on Kiki and Kibitz this week. We're going to be talking 90 Day Happily Ever After, so be sure to check that out. I'm excited to be a guest on there. I can't wait to talk to everybody on the live and everything, and to discuss this cringeworthy season. This season hasn't been as cringy as previous Happily Ever Afters, but it's still getting on my nerves a little bit. So I'm excited for that opportunity. So be sure you guys can go on the Kiki and Kibitz channel, and you will see me there this week. Whenever we decide to do that, I'll let you guys know, and I'll put the link to that after we're done in the description on this video. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe to my channel. I'll be back on tomorrow to recap 90 Day the Other Way. And then, of course, I'll see you guys later in the week on Kiki and Kivitz's channel. So I love you guys. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.